have you all been looking forward to this? Is this something that you feel like the group kind of really needs to be able to play the best basketball of the season heading down the stretch?
I can't speak for other guys, but I know I was super excited to be home. Like I was playing Frisbee with my dogs this morning, and I think it's good just to be home, be in an environment that you're comfortable in. We're going to have days where we're able to work on stuff. We're having more practice days. I don't know what the ratio is of practice to games, but I'm pretty sure we have a good amount of practice days where we can get work in, and I think everybody's excited to be home for sure.
When you've had this many guys in and out with injury and some who are still dealing with stuff, what does this time do for you all?
I think it helps with our chemistry as a team, just knowing that next man up mentality. Everybody just being ready for a moment. You never know what's going to happen. You don't know if you're going to shoot one shot or shoot 10 or play 5 minutes or play 20. So everybody just being ready, everybody having a high compete level, being ready to be that guy that's going to step up. I think it just grows us closer as a team.
As a guy who's no stranger to knocking down threes himself and stretching behind the arc, what was your perspective of Chet the other night in New York? And obviously we know he's pretty versatile, but you see kind of the work that he puts into his all-around game.
Yeah, I was happy to see him shoot that many shots. I told him, keep shooting. Like, regardless, keep shooting. Every night when I check in the game with him, I kind of just tell him, like, you're an elite player. Like, you're elite on both sides of the court. If you cut your offense out and make you a trash offensive player, you're still elite because of your defense. And if you're not elite on defense, you're still elite on offense. And I kind of always tell him that you're an elite player. And, like, when he's shooting those shots and he has the confidence to shoot those shots, he's one of the best, if not the best, stretch big in the league. And I'm happy to see him continue to shoot those shots and be confident in it.
What, from your perspective of someone who can play multiple roles out there on the court, he went from being in that double big lineup to playing in smaller lineups as well. Can you speak to kind of what goes into that for a big to be able to switch like that on a fly within the game?
Yeah, it takes a lot of smarts to kind of just know who you're on the court with, what coverage you're going to be in, who you're guarding. Like sometimes he's guarding a 4 that pops or a 3 that pops and he has to switch, and sometimes he's guarding a guy that can't shoot so he's in coverage, or sometimes he's guarding the big so he's in a different coverage. And just being able to be in all those different roles, and then also on offense it changes how you set screens or if you're popping or if you're whatever you're doing. So just him being in a bunch of different roles, it's tough to do, and he does it at a high level, and he makes it look easy.
To your point, Chet's not someone who needs to put up 20-some in order to show that he's an all-star, but to see him do that at MSG on a big stage like that, how cool was that?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was amazing to see him go out there and play. I think my favorite 3, he shot like he was running over to the left wing and like shot it off the catch, and like it was a great shot. And I like when he does, I don't know if y'all ever see it, but when I'm on the court, I'm always telling him like, bro, shoot it, like just shoot it. Like nobody's gonna block your threes. Nobody's going to block your shot. You can shoot over everybody on the court. Just shoot it. Like, nobody will get mad at you for shooting it, and I'm just happy that he's shooting it.
When Jared got traded here, a lot of people assumed you guys would be pretty fast friends. What's it been like getting to know him off the floor, and what's it been like playing with him so far?
Yeah, he's a good dude, a happy dude, funny dude. Me and Dub were talking about it because we play a game on the plane and it's like we're all up there at the table, and me and Dub have been talking. We're like, we're wondering if this is how everybody saw us when we were rookies. like when we were the young guys on the team, is this how we were to everybody else? And it's just fun. It's fun having Jared around. He's always a happy guy, laughing, joking around, regardless of the moment, and good guy to be around for sure.
About your game, you seem like you're in a pretty good groove, scoring and rebounding. That's a really big number. So lately, what's working for you?
I mean, just kind of just sticking with what I've done, just being me. I wouldn't say I'm doing anything different. I'm not going out there saying I'm going to shoot more or I'm going to be more aggressive on the glass. I'm just kind of playing my game, and whatever the team needs me to do, that's what's happening. And if the stats are coming with it, it's going to come with it. But I'm just trying to be me, trying to be what the team needs me to be.
Jared's talked about one of the things that's clicked for him, the screen setting that the big set, that you guys, you and Hart and all those guys. And I know a couple times you've hit him with some backdoor passes. Is that just kind of a chemistry feel for you? You guys work on that? How does that come together?
I think it's just knowing how to play basketball. I think Sam and those guys, they did a great job of putting a bunch of guys on the team that have great IQ in the game of basketball, and they know, like, with their shooting gravity, guys have to chase them off screens, and if they cut off the screen, then they have the back door and things like that. So I think Jared, just knowing that me and Hart, we love to pass the ball, we love to set hard screens. He knows that if he's cutting hard, if he's running off the screen hard, he's going to get good looks. So I think it's just a chemistry thing, and also just knowing how to play the game of basketball.
But Jared, it seems like one of the big things he was advertised as was a three-point shooter when he got here, but just what has impressed you, some other parts of his game that, really stood out to you?
Honestly, just how hard he's trying on defense. I didn't watch a lot of Philadelphia basketball, but I will say, like, I did see things like saying that he could shoot and he didn't play defense or something, but from what I've seen, he plays defense. Like, he tries hard out there. He's very, like, open to listening to tips, and like AC's a guy that's always speaking up, and like if we're in there with coaches, AC's butting in here and there saying things, and Jared's like always open to listen to whatever anybody has to say and the tips and defensive things, and just him being so open to be better on defense. I feel like that's the thing that's impressed me the most.
What is this, stretch here? You got 11 straight days at home, 2 full days off. How do you view this time here right now?
Today we had a lighter practice, but a very productive one. And when you can get sustained time at home like this, with days in between, the ability to watch longer film, which we did today, do some on-court work at a little higher intensity than we would in a shoot-around is very valuable. And if you look at our stretch from, really like the new year on, the ability to do this, a ton has not been there. We've just kind of supplemented with shoot-arounds and stuff like that. So we're looking forward to the stretch. It's obviously really high-level opponents in all these games that'll really test us and give us a good look, like some of these recent games. And at the same time, we can kind of calibrate in between them and learn the lessons and have the time to do that.
As I think you've said in the past, every 10 games or so, you all will meet as a staff and kind of dissect. You now have maybe only 1 or 2 of those left here in the regular season. As you start to get guys back, what's your approach or strategy to trying to get this team to be playing its best basketball as we head towards the end of the season?
Doing that a day at a time and a game at a time. You can't really force that. It's just a matter of getting everything you can out of every game, getting as healthy as we can get, obviously, and then in reflecting on some of the stretches that you're referring to, being able to understand the context of those stretches. We've had a lot of guys in and out, which changes the samples and changes the complexion of the team in a way. So, being able to evaluate all the minutes, but evaluate it in context and evaluate it in such a way that we can understand what we have moving forward. So.
You mentioned the challenges you guys have coming up and good tests ahead of you. These last 3 games on the road, also pretty good tests for you guys as a group. What did you kind of take away from that 3-game and 4-night stretch for you guys?
Well, the Denver game was obviously a very, it was amped up, and so when you reconnect to the rest of the regular season after a game like that, it's a challenge, and I thought the guys did an unbelievable job in Dallas of just, especially to start the game. We were ready to play that night, and controlled that game, and it was a very professional effort. Chicago was similar. We had 2 guys out that were there the night before, and we were able to control most of that game. And then New York was obviously a really challenging game. It's just a battle. It came down to execution. It was really a high execution game for both teams, and we were fortunate to come out of there with a 3-point win. But we got a lot out of that game. That game was rich with information for us, so we were able to take a lot of that game and look at it with the guys today.
How much are you learning about Jared over the course of this stretch? Obviously, he's played with a lot of different lineups now. He's gotten a lot of burn, and he's given you guys a lot of credit for giving him enough information to go out there and be confident, but not overloading him. So how do you kind of thread that line there?
Just like I've said before, keeping it big picture with him early, philosophical early. Make sure he understands. If a guy understands why you're doing what you're doing, then as they see different things unfold, as their experiences, go on with the group and with the team, things make a little more sense, and he can start to put the puzzle together. So we've tried to do that. It takes discipline to not just overload him with everything, and he's done a great job. He just is taking everything in stride and playing, and he's given us great minutes, and continues to be somebody that is impactful when he's in the game.
With him, you don't get a lot of time just to practice. So did you see this in film study? Did you just have to kind of let him play to see if he fit in this well this team? How did it all come about?
Yeah, we don't just let him play, and anytime we get a new player, the first thing we try to do is just understand their baseline. Like, what are their strengths? What are their vulnerabilities? In what ways can they impact the game? In his case, obviously, he's had NBA experience, but in a different program. So we just we give them as much as they need, but no more, and then just get them out there and let them kind of declare themselves and their starting point. And even then, he's obviously had success. Not everybody always starts off great, but that's okay too. That's just the baseline is just figuring out where you are so that you can just start the process of helping the guy grow individually and grow inside the team.
Really, I guess since the last month, February, you played a bunch of playoff caliber teams, and not just for him, but because of all the injuries, you kind of had to kind of put some guys in some different spots. Is that something you think can help you going forward? Just because you played really good teams?
Yeah, when you play the really good teams, those games, I mentioned it with New York, but those games are rich with feedback, and not just specific to that team. New York, certainly with their personnel, they put you in dilemmas that other teams can put you in. Like we had a small on Towns and had to deal with that. We had a ton of different coverages we threw at Brunson, and that's stuff we would do against other, high volume, high usage guards. And then defensively, they gave us a lot of looks as well. They were very aggressive with Shea, especially late in the game. And that's stuff that we're used to seeing, but that we'll continue to see moving forward. So we got good reps on that, and we're able to teach off that stuff today. So, we welcome those games. You're not going to win them all, but you get a lot of information from them, and I thought that was very productive for us, the New York game.
Speaking of Jared, it seems like one of the biggest strengths here coming in was floor spacing, but also he's made some strides in the middle of the floor as well. I think he's shooting like about 56% on twos outside of the restricted area. Just what have you seen out of him in that area of the floor?
It starts with, number one, his ability to shoot. He's a guy that you have to race off the line, which opens up some of those drives. The thing that stood out to me, I didn't know his game that well, especially that part of his game. Those mid-range plays show off his strength. He gets going downhill and he's able to absorb contact and rise up and shoot a balanced rhythm shot, which is harder to do than it looks. He makes it look easier than it is. So he's done a great job. He's been a great secondary creator for us so far. He's had to be a primary creator for us at different times and has done well there. So like I said, he's off to a really good start.
Golden State got a good win last night. They had firstly everybody heard, kind of reminded you of your game against San Antonio. They had 3 two-way guys playing everything else.
Mal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I guess it's just something about a championship team. Like Draymond's about the only name guy that really played last night.
Horford.
Yeah, okay,
Yep.
Horford played. But other than that, it's something they go to Houston and get a win against the Rockets team that's got everything to play for.
Yeah.
And they do too, but still, they were the underdog. That's just come out of a championship team that can go ahead and do that.
It's impressive, and I think to the Horford Green point, I think there's something to guys that expect to win the game that they play, and that's what I'd say about Green and Horford. Horford was obviously here. I know that really well with him, and Green from a distance. When those guys line up and lace them up, they expect to win and are disappointed when they don't, and that's a contagious thing, and that's one of the things as we've developed the team that we've tried to build is an expectation that you can compete any night and that every win is earned, but that you can earn a win on any given night, and understanding how to do that. And Green and Horford are two guys that have made a living off that for a long, long time. Got great respect for them.